Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is Montana This Morning from Montana's news leader.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us here on Montana This Morning. I'm Augusta McDonald.
And I'm Louis Dorch. Hopefully having a good start to your Thursday. I guess when we were coming in a bit earlier, snow wasn't starting to fall yet. Roads weren't too bad around Missoula. We are starting to see a little bit more snow roll in for today.
And by the end of yesterday afternoon, everything was melting a little bit.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of mixed conditions going on.
Yeah, really mild temperatures over the past couple days. Now, I was looking at some of the extended forecasts. It's going to be active through next week. And then it looks like by the start of the end of next week, we're going to start to see, I think, a more long-term colder pattern start to move in. But we are still going to see mild temperatures for the next couple of days, as some 40s are going to still be in the forecast. So we'll get into all this as we move throughout the morning here. Quick look at some winter weather advisories this morning now through 11 a.m. This is for the lower Clark Fork region. Areas above 3,000 feet could see an additional 3 to 5 inches of snow this morning. So that is going to make for some difficult travel on I-90 there as you head over towards Lookout Pass, where now chains are required over Lookout Pass if you are towing a vehicle. Forecast headlines: cold front moves in. That's what's going to bring us the morning snow today, then some sunshine by the afternoon. However, like we talked about, active weather continues with snow showers Friday and Saturday, and then warmer air arrives with mid-30s and even some mid-40s possible Sunday and Monday.
Alrighty, thank you, Louis. And in Health Watch this morning, health officials say an increase in flathead flu cases may be due to the resurgence of a bug we haven't seen in a few years. Flathead County has already seen more than 300 cases this season, making it the most in the state. MTN's Jack Ginsburg shows us how Flathead County is dealing with the spike in the virus and how hospitals are preventing.
In October, the first flu-related death in the state was reported here in the Flathead Valley. And now, around 3 months into the season, Flathead County has seen 332 cases reported, the most in the state. And the weekly flu report from the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services reported 89 new cases of influenza in the county in just a 1-week span, from January 7th to the 13th. Flathead County Public Health Officer Hillary Hansen says although numbers have been high, it creates an awareness in the community that otherwise may have never been there.
It's really good that we're being aware of that fact in Flathead County, which also probably means we're becoming more cognizant to when we should have prevention methods in place.
While speaking to Jason Cohen, the chief medical officer at North Valley Hospital in Whitefish, he said the spread of influenza has been irregular this year, but thinks it could be because of the strain of the virus.
H3N2 is one that we haven't seen for a little while, so when you see the same flu strain year after year, populations develop more of an immunity. When it's a flu strain that's more virulent, like this one seems to be, and one we haven't seen for a while, it's going to travel more quickly to the population.
Cohen says that the prevention efforts at North Valley are the same no matter how rapid the flu is spreading, but says that they have partnered with Kalispell Regional Health Center to discuss what to do if we saw epidemic levels.
Talking about what we would do if we saw surges of patients like they've seen in California. So we have alternate buildings we can use, for example, to see patients if our ER is overwhelmed.
And while hospitals are trying to cut back on the traffic coming in and out of the facilities, they've created an easy way to diagnose your symptoms through an app called KRH Care Anywhere. The app allows you to connect to a physician over the internet or phone to diagnose and give you advice about the sickness you may have, all from the comfort of your home. Cohen says the app's ability to let someone stay at home has been very useful during this flu season and helped contain possible transmission of the disease in the community. Jack Ginsburg, MTN News, Kalispell.
With this spike in flu cases across western Montana, the Missoula County Health Department has tips on how to prevent catching this contagious virus. Infectious disease specialist Pam Whitney suggested the best thing we can do is practice hand hygiene. She says wash your hands more than normal during this time of year. Another tip, keep alcohol-based sanitizers nearby and wipe down all surface areas frequently. If you cough, cover your mouth with your sleeve or elbow and have tissues ready to use. Lastly, Whitney says the flu shot is an extra step towards protecting ourselves from the flu. Whitney says there are many people who do not receive the flu shot and still get sick. She says it's because the H3N2 flu strand has already mutated after the vaccine was made.
In March is when they put the vaccine together. And so they always look at the southern hemisphere when they do that. So the strains that were circulating there is what went into the vaccine. And it was an H3N2 strain, but between March and now when we started seeing the cases, it changed a little bit. So that's why we're seeing people who got the vaccine not quite being protected.
According to the Montana Department of Health and Human Services, 87 cases of the flu have been reported in Missoula County this season. Top stories this morning. President Trump will today become the first sitting U.S. president to attend the World Economic Forum since Bill Clinton in 2000. At the event, often described as the epicenter of globalization and free trade, Mr. Trump is expected to push his America First agenda. Gavin Ramjan is in London with the latest on that, as well as some interesting comments the president made to a group of reporters back home just before leaving.
President Trump is in Davos, Switzerland today for the World Economic Forum. Shortly before takeoff, Mr. Trump held an impromptu press conference with reporters where he insisted his administration's tax cuts and deregulation will make the U.S. more appealing to foreign investors.
I'm going to Davos to get them to bring back a lot of money. They're going to invest a lot of money in this country.
Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin arrived in Davos a day before the president. He surprised many economists by praising a weaker U.S. dollar, claiming it helps with trade.
It's really all about economic growth, opportunities to invest, free and fair trade.
Some at the conference view Mnuchin's statements and recent U.S. decisions on trade as a sign of protectionism. Leaders from Germany, India and Italy, though, among those urging against such policies.
We need free trade, free market, and not protectionism.
The president arrives in Davos with two issues lingering over him back at home: immigration and the Russia investigation. At that same pre-flight Q&A with reporters, the president insisted he's looking forward to being interviewed by special counsel Robert Mueller.
Oh, I would do it under oath, yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Trump also spoke on DACA. When asked about a path towards citizenship for immigrants brought here illegally as children, he said, quote, "It's going to happen at some point in the future over a period of 10 to 12 years. Gavin Ramjan, CBS News, London.
The president plans to hold bilateral talks today with the British and Israeli prime ministers. Tomorrow, he'll deliver the keynote address before heading home. Back in the States, embattled Michigan State University President Lou Anna Simon has resigned. The decision came hours after a judge sentenced former MSU and USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar to a maximum of 175 years in prison for sexually abusing young gymnasts in his care. Many of Nassar's victims say MSU officials failed to respond to reports of the abuse. And the 15-year-old Kentucky boy charged with murdering two classmates is being arraigned today. The Marshall County High School sophomore is also accused of injuring 18 others in the Tuesday shooting spree. Prosecutors want to try the teen as an adult. And for posterity's sake, this morning, a wayward wallaby that disrupted downtown traffic by bounding across the Sydney Harbor Bridge last week with police in pursuit was released back into the wild today. The adult male was captured by police suffering minor abrasions and taken for treatment at a wildlife hospital at the city's Taronga Zoo. And the zoo's veterinarian, Larry Valges, says after more than a week of treatment, he was happy to release it into the wild at Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park. Swamp wallabies, which are smaller marsupials than their kangaroo cousins, are common across eastern Australia but are rarely seen in cities. The startled wallaby hopped across the bridge's 8 lanes of traffic an hour before sunrise, then turned onto an expressway on the harbor's southern shore toward the Sydney Opera House. Louis, usually we see bears kind of invade our cities here.
Yeah, you know, I have a cousin who lived down in Australia, and I wanted to see a kangaroo or wallaby so bad, and he was like, oh, they're like squirrels down here. It's like, you get used to them. They're everywhere, but obviously not in the cities there. That would be a sight to see. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some of the weather that we have going on today. Notice a wide variety of temperatures this morning. We're at 28 right now in Missoula, 19 Seeley Lake, 36 in Phillipsburg, 43 in Hamilton, so mild there, 32 Polson in Kalispell, 36 Thompson Falls, 32 in St. Regis, and yes, we do have snow popping up on the radar as well. So what we are seeing is it's going to slowly move through western Montana this morning, and then we're going to get to the backside of this later on this morning with some clearing later on this afternoon. Now, remember those temperatures, it was 43 in Hamilton, so we are seeing some of the rain showers on the in the forecast here, a little bit of a rain-snow mix around Hamilton. This will turn into all snow as the temperatures are going to continue to cool behind the cold front. Missoula not seeing snow yet, but it looks like we have that system right on our doorstep, but we will be seeing a little slight snow here shortly. And then as you head on I-90 over towards Lookout Pass, snow-covered roads are being reported there. Change required if towing over Lookout Pass now, and we're getting snow up towards Polson and Kalispell as well. This is what it looks like over Lolo Pass, so yeah, take it easy, as we did see snow-covered roads yesterday morning. The plows got out. We got a break in the snow by yesterday afternoon, but now roads are starting to become snow-covered once again as this next system rolls through. So here's your Hamilton hour-by-hour forecast. Great backdrop photo by Jardy there. Jardy, thank you for this one. Now by 8 a.m., I went 29 degrees. It might not drop that much as the cold front moves through, but it is going to drop as temperatures are going to cool behind the cold front. Notice snow this morning, then mostly cloudy skies by the afternoon. Kalispell with a great backdrop photo by Mike. Mike, thank you for this photo. Again, snow showers this morning, then we'll see partly sunny skies by the afternoon time. Here's your 7-day forecast for Missoula. 36 today with some snow this morning, then light snow continues for Friday and Saturday. Kalispell 35 today, 33 Friday, 31 Saturday. We're going to start to warm it up slightly by Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with temperatures in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Hamilton will see snow this morning, then light snow again Friday and Saturday. Rain moves in on Sunday. We'll get a brief break with very mild temperatures by Monday. Cooler weather and more snow moves in by the middle of next week.
Alrighty, thank you, Lewis. Montana This Morning continues right after this break, but first, here's your birthday shout-outs.